There are a lot of smartphone gimbals out there, but the Zhiyun Smooth 4 and the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 are arguably the two most talked about gimbals right now. They both cost the same and they both do the same thing, but they each target a different demographic. If you're trying to choose between either of these two gimbals, here are the main differences that I think you should know about. Just so we're clear, this isn't a full review on either of these gimbals. I'm just trying to point out the most important differences between them so I can help you with your purchase decision. If you want to learn more about either of these gimbals, then watch their full reviews. Both the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 and Zhiyun Smooth 4 retail for $139, and they both come with very similar accessories. They both come in a hard styrofoam carrying case, and they both come with a charging cable. But the Smooth 4 also brings an included attachable base, which is great if you're going to be getting lots of motion time lapses. If you want to pick either of these gimbals up, I'll have links in the description below, and if you use the links, it really helps out the channel. I suggest you check them out because you never know when these gimbals might go on sale. First, let's get some small but important details out of the way first. Both of these gimbals have a universal mount on the bottom so you can attach them to your tripod. Both of these gimbals aren't 360-degree gimbals, and both of these gimbals charge via different USB ports. The Osmo Mobile 2 charges via a micro USB port, and I find it odd DJI didn't just use a USB-C port because that's what the Mavic Air uses. But the Osmo has a dedicated USB-A port so you can charge your own phone. Whereas the Smooth 4 does use a USB-C port for charging, but unfortunately you can't use this USB-C port to charge your own device. Instead, you have to use the micro USB port found on the tilt axis to charge your own phone. And personally, I can't use this micro USB port, and I feel Zhiyun should have at least included a USB-A out to charge other devices. Because like I said in the full review, if you're going to be filming with your phone, you're constantly going to need to recharge it, especially if you're filming in 4K. Even though both of these gimbals do relatively the same thing, there are three main differences I want to talk about, and that's range of motion, physical controls, and software. With the Smooth 4, you're just able to move around much more without the gimbal snagging and messing up your shot. Whereas the Osmo 2 doesn't have as much range of motion, so if you move in a certain direction or if you hold it in a certain way, it might snag and get your phone off axis. You're just able to get away with much more with the Smooth 4, whereas the Osmo 2 really only likes to be held upright. Obviously, both of these gimbals are going to help smooth out your video, and for the most part, they both do a good job. But neither of these gimbals are going to perfectly smooth out your video. There's still going to be some up and down undulation going on. But you can further smooth out your video by adjusting the way you walk. The motors on both of these gimbals are relatively silent, but I did find the Osmo might give off a slight whining sound if they're working hard to keep your shot level, but it happens very rarely. But overheating hasn't been an issue with either of these gimbals, which is always a good thing to see. But perhaps the biggest difference between these two gimbals are the physical controls and form factors. First up, plainly said, the DJI Osmo Mobile 2's handle is much smaller and much more ergonomic than the Smooth 4's, whereas the Smooth 4's handle is just a rounded off rectangle that never really rests comfortably in the hand. But both of these handles are made out of plastic and are very slippery, so I highly advise you attach the wrist strap. But the biggest feature the Smooth 4 has to offer are the physical control buttons and the zoom wheel. With the physical control buttons, you can quickly and easily adjust your capture settings without having to use the touchscreen. And with the zoom wheel, you can precisely pull focus or zoom in on something. And thanks to these physical controls, I feel the Smooth 4 is the filmmaker's gimbal. But unfortunately, the Smooth 4 doesn't have a joystick to control the pan and tilt action of your camera. You can only do it manually. The control buttons on the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 are very minimal, and unlike the Smooth 4, there is a joystick so you can control your camera movements. There's also a switch on the Osmo 2 so you can adjust the zoom of the camera, but you don't have as much control as you would with the Smooth 4's zoom wheel. But another big difference between these two gimbals are their apps. In order to get the most out of the Zhiyun Smooth 4, you're better off using the ZY Play app so you can take full control of the physical buttons and quickly adjust your camera settings. Because without it, you're not going to be able to take full advantage of the zoom wheel, which is kind of the selling point of the Smooth 4. But I can't help but notice the image quality of the ZY Play app isn't as good as DJI's app or the iPhone's native camera app. It's not as sharp and the image can get blown out at times. Zhiyun's active tracking feature is also mostly useless. It loses a subject very easily, but since this is software, I do hope the ZY Play app will improve over time. DJI's active tracking, on the other hand, is far superior, and I found it very useful for when I want to keep a specific subject in frame, but I still have to move around. DJI's app also manages to capture image quality that's a little closer to real life than the ZY Play app. DJI's app is also much simpler to use, which some people will like and others won't. If you want to fine-tune your shot, you're going to have to fiddle around with DJI's app much longer than you would with Zhiyun's app, and in the process of digging through the menus and using the touchscreen, you're probably gonna have to readjust your shot. But with all that being said, since both of these gimbals cost the same, I think it all comes down to your needs. I feel the Zhiyun Smooth 4 is better suited for filmmakers and the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 is better suited for live streamers. The Smooth 4 manages to keep your shot steady at all costs while giving you quick and easy access to adjust your settings so you can get the best shot. The Osmo's simple to use interface, lightweight design, ergonomic handle, joystick, and USB-A port for charging your own phone makes it perfect for people who want to go live for extended periods of time. I feel the Smooth 4 has the better hardware and the Osmo 2 has the better software. I feel DJI needs to improve the range of motion of its gimbal with the Osmo Mobile 3, and I feel Zhiyun needs to bring better software and a much more ergonomic handle with the Smooth 5. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. Support the channel by clicking on the links down below, and I'll catch you next time.